What's going on, everybody? Dev Del Molino here, the synthesizer of opinions, back with another review. Today, we're taking a look at Lil Uzi Vert's newest and his debut album, Love Is Rage 2. And we're going to be doing a 65432 review on this album, which means I have 6 minutes to tell you guys 5 things to know about the album and or the artist before we get started. I'm going to be letting you guys know what my 4 favorite tracks off of this album are, and I'm going to be wrapping this album up into 3 adjectives that I believe sort of embody the essence of the project at hand. And finally, after all of that, we'll be left with 2 options. Is this album hot or nah? Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing that you need to know about Lil Uzi Vert is that Lil Uzi Vert is a bad bitch. Now, if you go ahead and take a look at this nice quality mem over here on my side, you can see obviously, check the shoulder roll. Clearly, we are looking at a bad bitch, and I'm just bringing this up because as a reviewer, these are the things that I need to know in going into listening to an album like this Love Is Rage 2 album that we are taking a look at today. Now, Lil Uzi Vert's real name is Samir Woods, and Samir Woods is surprisingly from Philadelphia. I would not have guessed that. I would have guessed Atlanta or somewhere nearby. I definitely didn't know he was from Philadelphia until I did the research for this review. And while this is the sequel to Uzi's breakthrough mixtape, Love Is Rage, this is Love Is Rage 2, the debut Lil Uzi Vert album. Uzi has released a slew of projects and tapes both before and after the release of Love Is Rage, but that is the project that we sort of pinpoint and highlight as being the moment where Uzi's career really started to pick up and shift into high gear. Bonus fact, Uzi has a collaborative EP with Gucci Mane under his belt. It is very bad. It's not good at all. Finally, my last little tidbit for you guys is Lil Uzi Vert recently citing Hayley Williams, the lead singer of Paramore, as one of his biggest musical inspirations ever. This is something that I think contextualizes the album as well as Uzi very well, because Uzi has made a name for himself as being hip-hop's rock star. The sound that he evokes in his music is no exception on this album. So with that being said, Uzi bending the alt-rap genre with the alt-rock genre is usually where the best of his content comes from, in my opinion. With that being said, my 4th favorite song on this album is the song The Way It Goes. On this song, Uzi is using a pretty healthy dose of influence from the song Landslide, originally performed by indie rock band Oh Wonder. I'm going to go ahead and drop that song down in the description box. You can go ahead and listen to it there if you aren't already aware of the song, just so you can see how many properties are used from the original version, transferred over into this new Lil Uzi Vert version, but he still comes out with something pretty good here, and overall it turns into this kind of lovesick trap rave jam that I kind of swoon for, I'm not gonna lie. I like it a lot. Next on the list at number 3 is the song 444 plus 222. Oh, I wonder what that equals. All I gotta say about this one really is it's a real booty shaker. Moving on from there at number 2, Neon Guts featuring Pharrell. Of the songs that I have not heard prior to this album coming out, this is the one song with a color palette that truly stands out amongst the other 15. I mean, it's literally in the name with it being titled Neon Guts, but this song is so splotchy and bright and fluorescent at times. And unfortunately, I think it says more about Pharrell's input on this song than it does Uzi's. From the production to the hook to just the overall feel of the record, make no mistake, a lot of what you're hearing on this track is on the part of Pharrell's input. Nevertheless, this does come out to be a great record, and boy, is it a great record. Now, Neon Guts may have been kind of my favorite track off of this album, but one that is close in terms of favoritism, and the one I think is truly the best at the end of the day, is still the song XO Tour Llif3. However, me putting this song at number 1 is kind of a way for me to criticize the album in its entirety, because out of all the material, 16 songs that we hear on this album, nothing comes close to impressing me nearly as much and doesn't really stand up in comparison to XO Tour Llif3. Neon Guts is the only one that comes close, and it's not even because of Uzi's input on that song. And second of all, I think you're hard-pressed to find a hit record on this album, if there are any really, the caliber of XO Tour Llif3. So that's why, moving into the adjective section of this review, I'm going to call this album Untapped to start. Untapped because XO Tour Llif3 as a single has set the bar way too high for any of the other material on this album to reach for or even compare to. You know, not all the material on here is bad. There is a lot on it that I like or at least can tolerate and just kind of listen in the background, but there's nothing on the album that excites me in the way that that single did. However, despite that, I think this album comes out sounding very foxy at the end of the day. A lot of the material on this album comes out sounding pretty chic, pretty designer, very glamorous, and you know, at the end of the day, Uzi is kind of fulfilling a role in hip-hop that only he can at this current juncture. So that's kind of a positive too. Finally, my biggest compliment to this album is that Uzi does a pretty solid job in terms of the production and his overall sound of cutting everything from the same cloth at the end of the day. Love is Rage 2 is a very nocturnal album, and it's that image that I can see in my head throughout the entirety of listening to this album that perpetuates that rock star profile that I believe Uzi to have. So at the end of the day, between hot or nah, I gotta give this one a nah. Again, it's not so bad, it's not terrible by any means. There is a lot of material on here that I enjoy and that I probably will return to, but at the end of the day, Uzi can be doing better. And that's going to be it for me, Dev Del Molino, on this new Uzi review. So yeah, remember, I always want to hear what you guys are thinking about this album and your favorite songs down in the comments section. If you can, smash that like on this video. Follow the channel if you haven't already, and you can check out all my other videos from the old SZA review to the Yachty review. I have a Gorillaz review. You can go back and hit my Drake, Kendrick, Future reviews. And remember, art without favor is like a windmill without wind. Dev Del Molino,